Welcome to episode 3 of Gunners Are Us. We are positively Arsenal.
Yes, we are. And today we are a two-man booth.
Woo.
Interesting week.
Big week.
Big. So last week we were talking about how Simon was going to be at Wembley. We ended up going to Wembley to watch. And interestingly, we were watching Simon at Wembley.
Simon was very much in Wembley.
Yes. So if you're listening and you want to see Simon, go to AEW's YouTube and you'll be able to find him as security for Powerhouse Hobbs and the man they call Miro.
Yes.
Who, if you are not finding Simon Miller 316 on Instagram and Twitter and these places, you see a picture with Miro. But he was talking about Powerhouse Hobbs, and this might explain why he isn't on the show today, because he's got a little bit of a bad throat, which is not good for a podcast. He's got a bit of swelling there, and I think it might be a wrestling-related injury.
He got very physical on the centre spot at Wembley.
He did. He was around the area that Aaron Ramsey, became a legend by winning the FA Cup for us against Hull 3-2.
Fine Welsh lad, fine Arsenal lad.
Yes, and he took a shot from Powerhouse Hobbs. It could be the pure power, but other than that, it could be also other things, because he was on a couple independent shows around London, around Wembley. But no, we had a great time. Other than Simon, obviously, can't speak great right now.
Not ideal for this side of his work.
No, his work involves his voice box.
Yes.
But no, he'll be back next week. But we're going to bring you the usual Gunners Are Us, episode 3. He'll be back next week, and we're still going to get to predictions. We got Simon's predictions. He sent his bold predictions, and of course, there's probably a Luton win in there. I'll double check in a minute. But we're going to get on with the show. But first, Wembley.
Yes.
I was going to bring this up.
History was made.
Huge wrestling show. But they did the entrance, and this is what we were having to chat yesterday. If you watched wrestling before, they do the entrance from like vertically, so from the longest point of the pitch.
Yeah.
They did the short side, and I feel like it was to replicate that feeling of coming out of a tunnel at a football game on the short side. So you kind of look around to the whole kind of bowl around you, and I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, that's the Tony Khan influence. I feel, just because of his background in obviously football, Fulham. Things like that. So he's experienced that. And I appreciate that difference in a take. If they are going to cement themselves, obviously this is wrestling talk at the start of a football podcast, but we are very linked in wrestling. I appreciate their spin on it. And it was interesting to see a show that wasn't WWE, wasn't WrestleMania, anything like that. Yeah, it was fresh. It was refreshing. And it was a very good show.
And speaking of Tony Khan, we're going to get to him because... we're going to get to Fulham, is what I mean.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things at Wembley was fun was during their, essentially their pre-show, their 0 hour, they call it on YouTube. You can check it out. I don't know if it got on the camera, but they showed a graphic for tickets available for Fulham versus Spurs. And the boos of 90,000 people just rung through Wembley. So that was very enjoyable. I thought about saying, what do you think of Tottenham? But hey, I chose against it.
Well, we were very much very close to Spurs country, not just Arsenal country, but Spurs country. So it was very close to Spurs country as it was. We saw a lot of lovely Arsenal kits that day.
Yeah, I saw some nice Arsenal. I think we saw the third kit.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I think I'm going to order the third kit today. But we're going to get to the Premier League roundup, and we're actually going to start with the enemy. We're going to get straight in because we're going to cover a few of the matches from this week and the bizarre weekend that it was. And we're going to get to Spurs first because I mentioned this on Twitter. One of our essentially a listener or a new listener who is a Spurs fan said, I don't know if I can listen to it, but I'll support it. And he said he's going to give it a listen this week simply because I said to him that it is so hard as an Arsenal fan to accept that the Spurs manager is extremely likable, and not just likable, he might be very good.
Yeah, this hurts me.
Yeah. And even Robbie Williams this week sang a song to him. I'm loving Big Ange instead of Angels. Is that right? This Australian dreamboat, this guy, he's funny, he's witty, he's intelligent. I mean, okay. This is a big take, and for any Man United listening, I saw this on Twitter as well. He's in 2 games, having just lost their best ever player potentially.
Yeah,
has a style and a concept going for the whole team, and this doesn't have to be a shot at Ten Hag, because I don't mind Ten Hag. I don't mind Man United. Well, I don't see necessarily a style of play from Ten Hag yet, and he's had over a year.
Yeah,
considering they've just lost their best player, they've hardly recruited anyone yet.
Yeah,
other than Maddison, which was a heck of a buy. he's implemented a style, and you can see it.
Yeah.
Whether it works or whether it doesn't, they're doing a style. But going back to what I originally said, which was this guy is very funny. Like he got asked if James Maddison was a bargain at 45 million, and his reaction was just such a human response of just like, I don't know what world you're living in, but I mean, where is 45 million pounds any kind of bargain for anything in the world?
I think someone also alluded to the fact that he might have been copying Pep with his game plan, and his response was, "Why wouldn't I copy Pep, mate?"
It's a very good accent as well. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, exactly. He seems likable. So I some of his recruitment, he was talking about Brighton and Matoma, and he got his start in Japan.
Yeah.
And then he moved on obviously to Scotland. But he kind of saw Matoma as a young guy and was saying, like, he was told, this winger over here, he's just come out of uni.
Yeah.
He's someone you don't have to necessarily worry about in the match. And he said he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he was like, Brighton are a little bit too smart for him.
Yeah.
That Brighton got to Bentoma before he could. But just hearing that and the fact that he saw that early and he could see the quality and the fact that which is weird. I know there's been comparisons, which I completely think is ridiculous so far, with Arsene Wenger and this guy.
That'll be the Japan.
Yeah, it's I think it's the Japan link. He's come to North London via a team like Celtic, which are a big team from another division.
Yeah.
And obviously Wenger went Japan, and then he ended up at, I think it was Monaco.
Yep.
And he kind of cut his teeth there before he joined us. And he made some interesting signings there off the bat. But hey, we need to give it some time before we start.
It's a hard one because I don't want to praise Tottenham too much.
Yeah, don't bother.
But at the same time, as a football fan, I'm going to remove myself as they're the enemy now. I'm very impressed with everything they are doing. Obviously, like behind the scenes, I don't know because they've had some issues before where Levy has tried to control a few things.
He's a problem, that guy.
Yeah, and I think Conte talked about it with the whole, I think Spence, the young Nottingham Forest player that they bought off of Nottingham Forest, who he should have stayed there because he came in. Conte said it was a club buy.
Yeah, he didn't have any interest.
Didn't want to play him. And for a young player to move to a big club like that, I think he played 6 times, I heard on Sky Sports News this morning.
Yeah.
He's now going to go on loan to Leeds. So he's come up to the Premier League with Nottingham Forest. He's now having to go back to the Championship. Obviously, this is the best move for him now. I'm getting a bit deep into the weeds of the Spence situation, but it does make sense to the way the club is run behind the scenes could cause problems. On the pitch, though, this is the first time, like you say, I've seen a shape, a personality to the team. And I think Kane leaving is a big part of that. I think also their Dyer is going to maybe join Kane at Munich, which is also a good move. That's
got to be a part of the contract, surely. When Kane signed, surely he went, can my mate join? Like, surely, why would they be looking? I know Tuchel's there, and obviously he was in England. There was talk of, before he joined Chelsea, wasn't there talk that Tuchel was going to go to Spurs?
Yes.
And since then, I think there was talk of him going to Spurs before he went to Munich.
Yeah.
So maybe he has an interest in a couple of these players, and they were the 2 that he picked out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that Dyer signing, it seems odd for Munich. Like,
I think they're moving. Is it Pavic?
Okay.
I think he's moving on to Inter Milan now. So I think
the natural replacement for Pavic is Eric Dyer, if anyone,
But yeah, I think, and also Højbjerg looks like he's going to Man United, which for Man United, that's good. I even though he's Tottenham, I am a fan of what Højbjerg brings.
I'll tell you who Man United should look at. There's an old Brazilian lad, Premier League experience. He's over at Galatasaray. His name's Fred.
Oh,
that's who Man United should look at. And we should get McFred or whether the United McFred going again, just in time for Arsenal's game this weekend.
But even though Ange is sending out some of these, what you would consider to be pretty key players in recent years for Tottenham. So on paper, it looks a bit scary, I think, if you're a Tottenham fan.
Yeah.
But I think you've also got I'm going to take a page from what we say a lot, trust the process.
Mm-hmm. I
think Ange has proved he's got the ability. He's won over the fans, and not just fans of Tottenham, fans of the Premier League with his personality. He's offloaded Kane, potentially Højbjerg, potentially Dyer. He's probably going to bring in, I think, a few players to suit his style more.
Yeah.
I think you have to break a few eggs to make an omelette at Tottenham.
Yeah.
I think they have been very Spursy, as people keep saying, over the last few seasons, or a lot of seasons. But it does pain me to say, very impressed with the manager, very impressed with what they're bringing on the pitch now, very impressed with everything Maddison is doing, because he needed this.
I think you're right. I think it's a process, because we lost Aubameyang. We got rid of Aubameyang, essentially, in different circumstances to Kane, but it allowed them to kind of the manager has obviously a perfect, like not perfect, but like a style that he needs the perfect squad for.
Yeah.
And it's taken 3 years before now. And even now we have 4 or 5 players that don't fit that. Like Kieran Tierney going on loan to Sociedad.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. That's a world-class football player. He just doesn't fit the style.
No.
And that's when you're getting into the real quality, is when there's a world-class player who doesn't fit your style, so you get rid of him.
Yeah.
You're not just getting rid of like Cedric.
Yeah.
He doesn't just fit the style. He's not good enough for that level.
Yeah, you're not trying to shift the wage bill a little bit. You're trying to make sense on the pitch.
It's similar to, we might get into it a little bit, is Smith Rowe, these talks at the minute. He might not fit the style. I don't know how he doesn't, because obviously he's exactly like Trossard. He's exactly like Vieira. He's exactly like Odegaard.
Yeah.
So I don't see how he doesn't. It might be other things. But when you're starting to talk about, you have to accept losing world-class players.
Yeah.
That's when you're in the top level. What Tottenham are doing, and they're in the bottom level of this, which is where we were 3 years ago when we picked up an FA Cup.
Yep.
In a bizarre process where we had like people like Maitland-Niles playing at right wing back.
Yeah.
Socrates and Mustafi, but we had world-class players like Ozil still in there.
Yeah.
But he was getting kind of dropped at the time.
Yeah.
Bamian was coming out. There was like Lacazette was up front, not scoring goals, similar to Richarlison.
Yeah.
But kind of putting a lot of work. The young wingers were coming through, people like Kulevski, and we had Saka. But then he had to build probably 15 players we've probably bought since then that fit that style.
Yeah.
Because at the minute he's got Emerson Royal and people like that doing inverted roles.
Yeah.
They're not ideal.
No.
And I know a big conversation right now is every team is trying to invert their fullbacks, because obviously Pep did it, Arteta did it.
Yeah.
And they're inverting players like Wan-Bissaka and Shaw. And I know that's a pot shot at Man United. That's not supposed to be. It's just they're the first two that came to mind because they don't really fit.
No.
It's kind of what we were doing last year when we had injuries. We had Tierney trying to invert. And again, we've had to sell him or loan him because he just doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So we need to make space for someone who does do it for depth, i.e. Timber, someone like that. And Man United have a perfect player that can do that in Martinez.
Yeah.
If they could find another centre-back, I think they could push Martinez out left and then he could invert, or out right, and he could invert from that side.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tottenham, they do feel different. I think they're a few years away from potentially challenging getting back into that level that they were under Poch right at the end.
Yeah.
But winning away 2-0 to Bournemouth sounds like you should just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as even Arsenal and Spurs are considered, they're games that both of those teams in history tend to lose.
Yeah.
And they won that, I think Bournemouth were okay on the day, but they did well.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think it's such a weird season so far. There's a lot of competitiveness involved. Like Tottenham can go away to Bournemouth and win 2-0, but then in the week go out of the Carabao Cup, which was one of their earlier shots and probably better shot at a trophy at this early stage. Albeit a very hard draw this early. When I saw it on paper, when everyone else was playing, which again didn't necessarily always work out for the other team, playing lesser teams in quotations. But yeah, I think all that aside, Fulham had a very good week. That's not a shot at Tottenham what happened yesterday. I mean, we drew to Fulham. Yeah. So it's not Tottenham. Fulham are a very good team, also making very good signings right now. But all things Tottenham, if we're going to wrap up anything Spurs related.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I don't like it, but I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to remove myself. I'm very impressed. And the North London derby this season, both ends, is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, but also the easiest of the last few years.
Yeah.
Because, hey, we're at such a different level to them. They're just at the start of some process that I'm sure Levy will cut it off at the knees
he'll make it
in about 2 months' time. So I'll look forward to that. We're going to jump onto some other processes because, again, talking of two people at different ends of the process, we got Newcastle versus Liverpool.
Yeah.
This was a wild game. Again, we were at Wembley. Simon was at Wembley.
Trying to keep up. 4G wasn't great.
I must admit, I was watching this on Sky Go on a guy in front of his phone.
We think was a Newcastle fan.
I think he was a Newcastle fan. And I've watched the highlights. I kind of listened to some podcasts about it. Seems like an explosive game. From Tyndall, obviously shushing Klopp. The fake pictures of Klopp shushing him back, which aren't real, thanks to X. Because they kind of jump on any kind of Photoshops now.
Yeah.
Which people are so good at Photoshop.
Their Photoshop's scary now. Yeah.
But Darwin Núñez kind of jumped onto the scene. I like Darwin Núñez. I've liked Darwin Núñez from the start.
Yeah.
I think he's raw. I think he's going to come into his own. But some of those finishes, when you get put in a channel like that in like the 18-yard box, and he's putting them just essentially inside netting.
Yeah.
No keeper's stopping it. And I mean, to do that back to back like he did, that's that's world class, and that's what they've been needing is someone to step up, because
especially when it's needed.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
that situation against a team like Newcastle that are pushing on, that's when it's needed.
Yeah, Newcastle are an interesting space now, because when you look at the start they had, like I've kind of gone back now and thought, when we got told what the fixtures were at the start of the season, you look at who has the hard ones. It notoriously, Arsenal the last 5-6 years get given Chelsea, City, and then like a bogey team away, like I don't know, Crystal Palace,
Brighton, even. Like,
yeah, that's how we usually start. This year we've had a much nicer one.
Yeah,
and we've dropped 2 points this week, which we're going to get to shortly. But on paper, when you look at Newcastle's one, they had Liverpool at home.
Yeah.
They were away to City.
Yep.
They were at home to Villa, who we all knew were on the up.
Yep.
At the start.
Well, I predicted a draw for that one, and they proved me wrong.
And this week, and obviously since Villa, by the way, have more points than Newcastle.
Having started that way, I saw a stat that Emery, I think, has won more games
than anyone except
or got more points. Yeah, than anyone but Pep
since he came in. They're and also they're the top goal scorers in the league right now. Villa.
Yeah.
But Newcastle started with Villa at home. Yeah, they went away to City.
Yep. Home
to Liverpool, and now we're away to Brighton.
That's as rough as it gets.
Yeah, and obviously we all after the first week thought, "Oh, Newcastle are in it this year," and they are, I think. Yeah. But they've taken 3 points from 3 games.
Yeah.
And again, at the start of the season, if they're on paper, they probably would have said 3 draws, they'd be happy.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be happy, but you'd expect 3 draws because they're 3 horrible games, including Brighton. If they were to win against Brighton and get 6 points from those first, I think they've got through some of the worst games they're going to have all season. Like City and Brighton away.
Yeah.
Even over Arsenal, it might be the 2 worst fixtures.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't help because obviously this week Brighton lost 3-1 at home to West Ham.
Weird week.
But again, very weird game. Not a game that I can't see Newcastle trying against Brighton because they sat behind. They did a low block. They had 10-11% possession.
Yeah.
They had 5 shots on goal, something like that, and they scored 3 and 200 passes completed, if that. But I mean, that's a horrible start. And if they do lose next week, is there pressure on the manager Tyndall?
What I was going to say is you made a Freudian slip, I feel, with these notes because you put Newcastle versus Newcastle.
I did,
but I think you've raised a better point with that by accident, well, purposely on accident.
Hey, Randy Orton.
Newcastle versus Newcastle is the real question because, like you said, with the takeover, the money invested, obviously from the documentary on Prime, you can see they're very invested.
Yeah,
and we've got a close connection with Newcastle, so I like to keep an eye on that just based on mum's side of the family being big Newcastle fans.
Yeah,
I think it is very much Newcastle versus Newcastle, but you can't take away from them with the first few fixtures, like you said, because that on paper is rough. They're going to come good. They've got some very good players, good balance. They're finding a balance, I think. But yeah, the pressure, it depends. It depends if those owners are going to not necessarily look at, I don't know, because the main owner said at the start, he's not necessarily a big football fan, but he is now. So will he understand what these games are and how they affect the team later on in the season?
Yeah.
Will he understand the process? Will he understand it's a long season ahead? They will come good. I think they will get top 4, if not top 6. But it is very much Newcastle versus Newcastle in this situation, I think. I think the key is going to be what comes after this little stretch and how they turn it around, because it's a very competitive season.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say about, I think someone raised a good question this week on X. Without City in the league, is this the most competitive league ever? Like, because City kind of ruined the situation a little bit with the FFP of it. Well, I'm going to say that.
115 charges.
Yeah, like they are, they're going to run this league no matter what. Yeah. Everyone else underneath has to just figure out how to fight against it.
Yeah.
But without them, it's a super competitive league from top to bottom. Like even the teams at the bottom, I couldn't tell you right now. Like Sheffield United put up the fight. I'm not moving on a little bit. I'm not trying to move on. I'm just trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Sheffield United put up a fight against Man City this week and nearly caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
It's such a competitive league at the minute. And I think with Newcastle being the way they are, I think Eddie Howe is a great manager. Tyndall is a great assistant manager.
Oh, is he the assistant?
Yeah. What's the deal with this? He's
a pleb.
Well, so what's I was going to say, the deal with this thing where assistants aren't allowed in the box.
I don't want to get, because obviously last week we did a lot on VAR.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too deep into this.
Okay. I like having these side conversations, though, yeah. They get my blood going, you know?
I just want to bring up the start of the season. If you watch the Community Shield, they made a very big point on you cannot touch the ball once the whistle's gone. If you're like the other team. So like if you give away a foul, you can't even pick the ball up. You can't kick the ball back to them. It's all a booking.
Yeah.
If you ask for a booking, it's an instant booking.
Yeah.
If you've been booked, the next foul is a booking.
Yeah.
Okay. These things where it was so aggressive.
Yeah.
The managers get booked if they talk or whatever. I don't know. They're not allowed to have their assistant manager. You're only allowed to be, like, for example, if it's a set piece, you can have a set piece coach.
Yeah.
He has to stand behind the manager.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to be side by side. We're 3 weeks in, and I'm convinced they've got rid of all of these things.
They do every season, though.
We said this at the start of the season. We said, we're fine with the new rules if we want to do this. Again, even the added time is relatively fine.
Yep.
But obviously, this is an Arsenal podcast. We're going to talk about Trent in this match.
Yep.
Trent, he should have gone off. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
He's booked. He's obviously getting carried away. I can see Liverpool fans in my WhatsApp chat saying, like, this guy needs to get taken off because he's going to get sent off.
Yeah.
He pulls a guy down on a counter attack.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Or even tried to pull down Gordon.
Yeah.
For the goal. He attempted.
And that's what I mean. And then you look back at the Arsenal Palace game. Tomiyasu touches a guy's shirt on a booking. And I understand that. And I even said, I don't think the first one's a booking for him. I think it was a collective team booking. Yeah. But he just got the brunt of it. So I kind of understand the red.
Yeah.
Like we said that at the time. And I kind of also, I don't understand Ayew not being sent off before because he did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But I understand by the new rules, that was a red. Now you fast forward a couple of weeks. Oh no, but a good English lad, Trent. This is how I see it. They go, they start calling them by their first name. Oh, Trent, come over. Just need to calm down. It's like, no. If you set the rules, whether it's Trent, whether it's Tomiyasu, whether it's David Asprilla.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's the rule, send him off.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to hold a hard line, and also since then you've got things like Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Touched an official. He's now getting massive.
Yeah.
Maybe some fines, maybe a longer suspension.
Yeah.
And then you think back to, for example, Bruno Fernandes lost 7-0 at Anfield, and he grabbed the linesman.
Yeah.
And nothing got done.
No.
And it's like, these are things that people have issues with. I think United fans wouldn't have an issue if he had got fined for that. If we're doing it now.
It's consistency.
And it's the consistency that is the issue.
And the consistency, the lack of, like you say, we start every season. There's always a new set of rules that they're going to stick by, apparently. You lose points based on these rules early on, which could also add up later on when...
Perfect example, like we saw Sheffield United got relegated a couple of years ago because they forgot to turn on goal line technology around COVID time.
Rough.
And they got relegated by 2 points, which were the 2 points they would have saved if they'd turned goal line technology. And they said, oh, we're really sorry. It's like, yeah, that's good. But obviously certain people lost their jobs. Then you think of certain football players that had to move club because they went down to championship, so they had to move their families. Then the amount of money that company, like, the business of Sheffield United, they lose all this money on revenue. That it's such a crazy amount, but for whatever reason they've decided this year if you hold the ball on a throw too long, that's a real problem. But all these other things aren't,
albeit there's added time, so it's like double jeopardy.
Some of these things, and again, you get a massive head injury, but he can continue, which again, another reason why I like this Spurs manager. In 3 weeks, he's taken 2 of his players off who have said they could continue because they got hit on the head. He instantly just pulled them, and he made his own team worse for doing it. But he stuck with it and said, no, you've had a head injury. I'm looking after you first. And I feel like it's the first manager I've seen that's done that, which again, I need to stop talking about them. I hate them. But yeah, these rules, they go really hard. Certain teams get hard done by it, and then they scrap it. In that Newcastle game, there was a couple of Newcastle players. I think one Newcastle player asked for a booking 3 times in the match in front of the ref with his hands and didn't get one booking. He would have get sent off and a half, But then you watch this game over here, and let's say United player gets sent off for doing it, like Bruno does it, let's say, and he gets a red card. There's no consistency, and I don't fully understand that part.
Well, even game to game, the last Newcastle game, Guimaraes got booked for brandishing the yellow. So it's the same team doing it from 1 week, literally, to a week later. Different manager doesn't want to book him for it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Manager.
Referee. Oh, sorry, I was thinking about.
I thought Tyndall was trying to be the ref now. I tell you what, that pronunciation of
Guimaraes.
That was very impressive. I would have just called him Bruno G. Just because I don't want to be upset.
With that being said, though, the Van Dijk red card.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm going to be honest, because I didn't watch the game at the time. I caught up on highlights.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was happening within the highlights. I
Right.
didn't understand the part of the game we were in.
Yeah.
Van Dijk.
He's kicked through the boy, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but straight red.
Plus man.
Yeah, but it when I was
You sound like Carragher if you didn't have an accent.
Yeah. But I was watching it in real time, like in the highlight, not knowing what was coming. And it happened. And because I didn't know about this, I was literally looking at the TV like, what's happening? The same as kind of Van Dijk did. He looked back at the ref like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but
I understand what you're saying, last man, and that.
He's no Saliba, that's all I'm saying.
But I don't know. I don't know. But again, is it balanced out because Trent should have gone? Like, is that the balance? Or is that the universe?
It just doesn't make. If that is the balance, I get that's the balance, but it's like, don't set rules if you're just going to balance things out.
That's the main problem. That's the main problem.
I don't know what is wrong with the English officials. I genuinely believe if you had three officials from each country in the Premier League, and then for example, in La Liga, there's 3 English refs. So if you have 20 refs, you space them out across all of the big European leagues, and so it's a real mix. Well, I think you'll get such better officiating, and it's not. And again, I have this argument. There's a friend of ours called Bruno. He's a big Man United fan, and obviously we've got the Man United game coming this week, so it's a big derby in our friendship group.
Yeah,
but I have this conversation because he always says, Arsenal agenda. Like, as a Man United fan, he thinks we have like a conspiracy, which I'm sure we sound like we do. But he's also a Man United fan. So he's grown up as a Man United fan and how Man United matches get officiated. Similar to how if you talk to someone who supports, for example, in our WhatsApp, we have a friend who's in a Bournemouth fan in a group we are. And he talks about the Spurs tackle this week on, I can't remember, Romero on someone.
Yeah.
It was awful. And they were saying this is how officials officiate against the big 6 from the small teams. So they can feel the difference in officiating between the big 6 and them.
Yeah.
Inside the big 6, you can feel the difference between, for example, Man United and Liverpool, how they're officiated compared to how an Arsenal, Spurs, or even Chelsea get officiated, because they're not as big a teams. And when you look at these refs, I think it's 80% of them are from Manchester.
Yeah,
certain things like that are just a problem, because I don't think anyone's actively trying to mess any teams up. I don't think any refs are actively going out going, I'm going to make sure Arsenal lose today. No. That doesn't happen. But recency bias does, and like geography does. Yeah. Because for example, if I was a manager, if I was a ref, and I was like, I'm going to do this perfectly fair, and even if I went into a Spurs versus Bournemouth game, and I was like, I'm going to do this fair, if Richarlison, for example, give me any lip, I'd send him off. Yeah. Because in my head, I'm like, he's annoying and he plays for them. Yeah. And whether I want to or not, I think I would give, for example, Salah, who gives me the exact same verbal abuse, the benefit of the doubt because he's more likable, for example. Yeah. So that stuff exists because they're human. I think it exists less if the guy is from Mallorca, because he doesn't care about Arsenal. He doesn't care about Man United. He doesn't care about Bournemouth. He doesn't really know or care about who's who. Yeah. So I just think you'd get better officiating if the people had no ties, even if they're, because these refs say that, I'm a Chester fan, I'm not a Man United fan. I get that, but surely when you're growing up, you're watching Man United. And again, I know they're not actively doing it, but surely there's something in your brain that goes, I don't like that.
I think like you're very right with some of the points you're making there, in the sense that I think there should be a general shake-up, because a lot of these officials are officiating in this league for 5 to 10 years. Yeah. So over that time, whether they're fans of the team or not, they're going to form an opinion on teams, players, and that goes back to what we were saying about Arsenal. I think there is something to us being, even a lot of the pundits talk about it, and not on purpose, but it does come out that they don't think we're very likable. They think we're a little bit of a pushover. They think that we're trying to get away with something. But I think if you're in the league for that long, around those same players as a referee or a linesman or whatever, and around those same teams, you do form an opinion on those players and teams.
Yeah, and you take that. Historic is what I mean. Like, it's like if you expect, like, if you are like, if these refs are 30, we grew up with an invincible Man United team and a very annoying Arsenal invincible team. Yeah, yeah. For example, Man United were youth team, the class of 92, British manager, and they played very exciting football. Yeah. Then Arsenal came along with no British players, a manager who was very unlikable to anyone that isn't an Arsenal fan. Yeah. And they went invincible. Yeah. And they were doing things like trying to pass on a penalty.
Yeah.
They would, there was handballs, there was dives, they were very European.
There was an arrogance.
There was an arrogance to it. So if they're that age, they're going to always be like, oh, I hate Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, but Man United are a proper team. And you see it in the punditry. For example, how many years have you been watching like football players when they take a penalty or a corner or anything?
Yeah.
They put it on the edge of the D.
Mm-hmm.
These have happened forever.
Yeah.
That Arsenal game, because we're about to get to the Arsenal versus Fulham game. Saka got a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
He put it on the edge of the circle, like the front end of the circle.
Yeah, like everyone does.
Yeah, like every human does. Every football player does, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think every human takes a penalty. But he put it on the front, and I saw this, and it was on the circle.
Yeah.
It wasn't the parameter of the ball. If you drew a line down, was over. It was actively touching it. And it went on for hours, and the ref just kept putting it back, and he kept putting it back. And eventually, he just let him take it where he was taking it. So it's like, why did you cause all this anticipation? There was all the players kept rushing in and like treading on the circle, trying to get the ball back.
Yeah,
there was all this. It was like you're building all this stuff. It's like, but why was it? I've watched how many penalties have been given this year already.
Yeah,
that's the first time a ref's done that.
Yeah,
and they've all been in the exact same space, even to a point where it was there. And again, it's that bizarreness of like, this would be funny if, like, for example, we lost to Brentford opening game a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The pundits were dancing in the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, it's funny when it's similar to Spurs even. It's funny when they lose.
Yeah.
It's funny when Arsenal go get rolled over by Burnley in the rain and everyone's like, they're a soft touch.
Yeah.
But this happens to every major team.
Mm-hmm.
City sometimes lose 2-0 away from home, to a Brentford in the rain. But it's just like, oh, they've slipped up. That's it.
Oh, everyone forms an opinion. Whether you're a fan, a pundit, a player, a referee, whatever it is, everyone forms an opinion on certain players, certain teams. I do it. I've got certain players in the league that I just don't like for whatever reason. Not that they've done anything.
No.
But I just take a disliking to.
Yeah.
Not like a hatred. I don't hate anyone, but I just go into certain games knowing what I'm going to get from certain players, like Bruno Fernandes, for example.
Yeah, he's different to a... Oh, go on.
Well, I really like Harvey Barnes.
Like, I didn't think he'd be the likable guy he chose.
There's nothing. He's just a good player. Like, he doesn't show any signs of anything. Whereas there's a Bruno Fernandes. I don't know whatever it is. He rubs me the wrong way.
Like Luke Shaw, likable.
Yeah, very likable.
If Luke Shaw goes down, I'm like, oh, he got it there.
Yeah, and the commentators say it. The commentators say that, like they always say it. He doesn't go down for no reason. Or when like a Richarlison goes down, it's like, oh, I don't know what he's doing there.
Richarlison's probably lying.
Yeah. But
I just proved the point.
But we're all forming this opinion, and so are the referees. Like, they've been in the league 5 to 10 years. Yeah. They know these players, they know these teams. They have an opinion. Whether they go into the game going, "Oh, I'm going to make sure I keep an eye on Richarlison," I don't know. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
But that is a real thing, and I think a shake-up would be great. Like, so it is just random. Yeah. Like, you just get an official from wherever in the world to come in, has no set opinion on these players because they haven't been around them.
Yeah.
They just referee the game, black and white.
Yeah. I agree. And interestingly, we're going to move on to Arsenal v Fulham from this past week, which was a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
On our predictions, I think we all went Arsenal win.
I can't wait to talk about these predictions later.
Yeah. It was a weird game. I think if you haven't watched Arsenal, because obviously if you watch your team, you might gloss over all the other games. You might watch the other game. You get a condensed image of your team because obviously that's the team you're listening to. Watching, sorry, and they're the podcast you're listening to, they're the things you're reading on X or whatever. But you know what I mean? So you have a real condensed visual. The outside visual of Arsenal right now is they're not as good as they've been.
Yeah.
And I can kind of feel that feeling.
Yeah. Well, I always, after every game, my main concern is all the other fans in the league seeing the scoreline because they didn't see the game.
Yeah, so they go,
all I'm thinking about is the score, even the live scoreline. Yeah. Like, as it's happening. Like, so if we go down 1-0, I know all the other fans are looking at it, go, oh, Arsenal 1-0 down.
And again, I saw it all over social media. It's 5 minutes into the 3 o'clockers. Arsenal 0-1 to Fulham. Man United 0-2 to Forest. And I could see the excitement because obviously it's just like, and I would be like, if that was, Liverpool and Chelsea. I'd be
my eyes bugged out looking at my accumulator that day.
Yeah, I bet it did. But it was this season so far, instead of just doing a preview, a review of that one game, I kind of review the first 3.
Yeah.
I think if the season, when they announced the fixtures, we had home to Forest, we had home to Fulham, and in between there was an away to Palace.
Yeah.
If you take last year's Palace, which was our opening fixture away, we all expected to lose that.
Yeah.
And we didn't. We won 2-0. it was Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko's first game. It was the first time we got to see this new incarnation of Arsenal. And we didn't know what that looked like until we watched the game.
Yeah.
Revisionist history has us going, we were unbelievable that day. And it's a game we never win. True to in parts. When you actually go back and watch the highlights of that game, they dismantled us for 50% of that game.
Yeah.
We were very good for the first 30 minutes where we got our lead.
Yeah.
And then we got very shaky, very panicked, and they were hitting the post. They were just going wide. We're under a lot of pressure. But again, 12 months on, we won 2-0. That's such a good result.
Yeah.
And it is. Then fast forward a year later, our first away game was away to Palace. And we won 1-0.
Yeah.
And if you watched it, we were good.
Yeah.
Until we lost a man, which again, you could talk about that forever. But it changed. But for 70 minutes, we were very good.
Yeah.
And Arteta said afterwards, we were much better this year than we were last year.
Yeah.
And we were, because when you look at XG, when you look at possession, just general eye test, it's miles better.
Yeah.
But because it was 1-0, not 2-0, and because we knew how the season went after that game, you look at it with rose-tinted glasses and you go, wow, that was a great result. But when the fixtures got announced, in my head, I went, we'll beat Forest, we'll draw away to Palace, because I wasn't convinced because we did it last year, we'll do it again. Before last year, we hadn't won at Palace for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
it's a rough fixture.
It shows you that game is not good for us. So I was like, all right, win, draw, win. We should comfortably beat Fulham and Forest.
Yeah.
But we might struggle away. And again, if you look at last year, we were better away from home than we were at home.
Yeah.
But that I thought 7 points after 3. After 3 games, we got 7 points. But because of the way in which this one happened, it almost feels like a loss. Like we were so close. And having done the title race last year, you can feel how important those 2 points could be. Because essentially we were 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
They were down to 10 men and we lost.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, and that's the way everyone else will look at it, what I was kind of trying to get to was after 3 games, we look awkward to break down. We look awkward going forward.
Yeah.
But we're creating more XG. We're creating more massive chances. We're not scoring quite as much, but we're getting in the right positions more. And we're controlling the game better.
Yeah.
But obviously, one game had a major injury midway that changed the landscape. The second one had a big red card. This one, we messed ourselves up instantly by giving away another goal. And again, that is 3 home games in the space of, I think it's 5 games. The first team ever to concede 3 goals in the first minute of home games in a row. And that, again, is a massive issue. These are all mistakes. If you look, like Tomiyasu shouldn't have touched that guy because, we shouldn't give the ref a decision.
No.
The Timber thing, that's an issue with, you should have taken him off at half time. We all knew that.
Yeah.
And then this one it's a lapse in concentration from Saka / maybe Saliba and Ben White because they pushed out defense. Yeah. Saka expects the centre back to be there. He's ended up hitting into no man's land. They've scored.
Yeah.
Ramsdale, people give him Ramsdale stick. He's in the position he always is. He's well out of goal because we're in comfortable position.
And I'm pretty sure he mishit that shot as well.
Yeah, it was either mishit or the world's best finish. He turned Ramsdale right around.
It definitely wasn't like the Onana save that we're going to talk about.
No, yeah. The Onana save in the Forest game.
Yeah.
He dove before anything happened, which was very interesting. I like Onana. I was interested in buying him when we were talked about it before Ramsdale.
Yeah.
But that was a very odd. And I'd love to hear, like, on our socials, like if you follow it, buy TBA on X or Instagram or Simon Miller 316. These, if you want to get hold of us, let us know what you think about Onana if you're a Man United fan.
Yeah.
What you think about your season so far, because obviously we're predicting the game in a minute.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, we I think the season on paper looks very like 2-1, 1-0, 2-2.
Yeah.
We've only scored 1 goal from open play.
Yeah.
It looks iffy.
Yep.
But when you watch it, we're way more in control.
But I feel like that's been a conversation for years. Like, I feel like we've had a lot of seasons recently where we create a lot of chances, but don't necessarily put them in. And like you say, the test is when other fans don't see the game, but they see the results or they see the highlights. Are we lacking that cutthroat edge? Have we lacked that for some time? Mm-hmm. Like, we're very good on the ball. And we're also very good at defending. We proved, like in the Crystal Palace game, not so much this week. A few issues, but we'll get to that in a minute. But have we lacked that one player that can step up when we need it, pop the ball in the net when needed? I know Eddie has it in him.
Yeah, but they all have it in them. That's the issue. But again, if you were looking at world football, is there a player that does that?
I guess.
Other than one.
Again, I think that's the other side of what we're saying is we're not seeing all the other games where other fans are watching their team and going, we need someone who could just put it in the net.
I do worry because when you look at West Ham, they created about, I don't know, 1.5 chances. They scored 3 goals. Yeah. And when you watch the clinicalness of like Antonio and Bowen,
yeah,
I don't know if that's just a one-off in that game,
yeah,
or whether they're doing that week on, week out. But it's more clinical than anything I've seen Arsenal do for a long time.
Yeah. We seem to have these players like a Jesus.
Yeah.
Who he's a prime example of what Arsenal is in general.
Yeah.
If you watch the game,
he looks amazing.
It's exceptional. Like technically everything. It's unreal.
But he'll miss 3 chances.
And that kind of sums up the team. Is this a mental problem though that is carrying over from last season? Like you said at the start of last season, we had no expectations. We were in the building process. So we were all kind of going into it thinking it looks good, but there's going to be a few years to go. But now, after what happened last season, where we pretty much had the league in our hands for most of the season, and then it went away, we all kind of went through that scary roller coaster thing at the end of the season where every game was like a cup final.
Yeah.
Have we started this season that way, where we're all mentally now expecting more? So when we get like you say, we the points we got out of these first 3 games, is what we would have asked for.
Yeah.
Regardless of how they went on the pitch, this is the points we would have expected from these first 3 games.
Yeah.
So everything's fine. But are we now talking ourselves in circles now, going, but we expect more at this point?
I think
but is that carrying over to the pitch?
That's I think it's not just. I think it's not just carried over to the pitch. I think it's carrying over to the crowd because we had this conversation off mic, which was the atmosphere last year was unreal.
Yeah,
and I think it was because they were kind of riding the edge of like a lightning bolt. Like it was, we expected at the start of last season, we all said if we could get top 4, we'd like bite your hand off. By the end of it, there was fans saying if we don't win the league, Arteta should be out.
Yeah.
You have to kind of maintain how you felt at the start throughout the season. I know things change because obviously I don't expect to win the Champions League this year.
Yeah.
But if we were in the semi-final, I'd start going, oh, can you imagine?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't see it as a failure because I remember that I didn't expect us to do anything in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But that has to happen because in the crowd, last year, the atmosphere got bigger and bigger and bigger. It was so loud. And then now it's gone back to a couple of years ago where they're almost like quiet, waiting for stuff to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it is kind of we know how good you are now. Now prove it. Whereas last year it was like, we know you're not great.
Yeah.
But then they were great.
Yeah.
And they were going, this is amazing. I love watching this.
And we've only got stronger since then. So I think the expectation has gone up.
Yeah.
But I think that player-wise, though, in terms of what we're expecting from the team, I think the same goes for Havertz.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because obviously we've done quite a lot on this this week. I think we're doing a quick fire of a couple big topics. So we spoke about Havertz a lot last week.
Yeah.
It's similar to VAR officials. I feel like every single week, there's not going to be a week where we don't go, VAR did this, an official did this, or Havertz did this.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep into Havertz because I feel like there's going to be hopefully more positive weeks that we can really go into it.
Yep.
But what's your quick thought on where we're at with Havertz? Because after the Community Shield in the first 2 games, people were saying, you know, I don't get, we said it, we don't get what he does. He seems to do something.
Yeah.
This week, I think, was his first bad game. It was a bad game. And again, that's not because of anything other than people have bad games. Saka had a bad game. Havertz had a bad game.
Yep.
Most of them had a bad game.
Yeah.
That's not the end of the world. Like football players have bad games. It's just circumstance. I think when you look back to, for example, someone brought up a newspaper clipping where I think it was Stuart Pearce said that they've wasted their money on Bergkamp when we bought Bergkamp because he struggled the first 5-6 games.
Yeah.
And we all know how such a good player.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Havertz is Dennis Bergkamp by any means, but it takes time for a 23, 24-year-old to bed into a new club and understand the formula. Like you saw with Rice, it took 3 games and then now he's starting to tick and you go, this is the player we bought. It's not the one we saw in the first couple. But I thought Havertz was exceptional for 3 games. Similar to Jesus and people like again, Jesus sometimes go 3 games, no goals. We all go, God, I love Jesus.
Yeah.
With Havertz, it's almost like he's only going to be as good as his stats. And I think that's unfair for a guy who's going to play a majority left 8. Because last year, we all loved Xhaka.
Yeah.
And he got 8 goals.
But it took him time to figure that role out, though.
But again, he got 8 goals, 6 assists. If Havertz got 8 goals and 6 assists, we'd all be like, yeah, we're dreaming. But I mean, he shouldn't be necessarily held to that standard because he's learning that role. It took Xhaka, 7 years at Arsenal before he had a season like that?
Yeah.
And he was playing in a very similar role that whole time. He just got given more, expression to be able to go box to box.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your little thought on Havertz before we move on? Because I think we'll do quick fire on a few of the guys.
I think as a whole, Arsenal fans need to not fall into the same trap that Chelsea fans did with Havertz. They need to not pile on, not throw negatives around. He's early in the stages of what he's supposed to be doing at Arsenal. The one thing we can't do is kill him off this early.
Yeah, because is there a residual from Willian? Are we thinking Willian again?
There's definitely a residual from the likes of Willian. I think Jorginho's kind of proved that wrong a little bit because he's exceptional.
Is it easier though for a deeper lying player because he's not held to a standard of any goals, any assists? All we want Jorginho to do is to steady a game.
Yeah, similar to Rice. And Rice does what he's supposed to do.
Whereas if you're expected to score goals, you go 2 games without goal, all of a sudden it's like you're not good enough.
I think a big part of it is Havertz playing where he's playing. He doesn't quite know that role yet. I think it's a very thankless job.
I think it's a very intricate role to learn as well. I think Xhaka's an extremely intelligent player who's going to become a coach. Mm-hmm. I think he spent hours watching tape, talking to Arteta, learning that role, and then implementing it constantly until he figured out, if I stand here, and not just that, the first, I know Zinchenko played for about a month, was out for a month, played for a month, out for a month, and then was out for the last 2 months. Xhaka was playing with Zinchenko and Martinelli nearly every single game and learning relationships. So far, Havertz has played 9 twice. He's played 8 twice. And he's had, in the 4 games, Timber at left back, Tomiyasu at left back, Kibior at left back, and even Tierney shortly for one of them. And he's had Martinelli left every single time. And their connection is awful after 4 games. Like, they do not seem to have any kind of relationship going. And again, I think Arteta's plan with all of this has been to create new relationships because we were so predictable last year with that 11. The 11 that we're all dying for him to play next week. He's trying to be less predictable, similar to Pep and how it's like fantasy football roulette. You don't know who you can put in. He wants to build new relationships so that basically when 33 games have happened and we get an injury to Saliba and Zinchenko, he's like, but we already have a great relationship with Kibior, Havertz, and Trossard. So nothing to worry about. Whereas last year, he just every single game he played the exact same set of
then injuries caused problems later on.
Whereas I think without the injuries, he's trying to create the problems early so they get used to it, so he can then go back to his old, which we'll get to when we talk about the predictions for the lineup against United. But quick roundup: Vieira, should he be starting next week?
I don't know if he should be starting. I think he proved a lot in that game for what he is, but starting, maybe not.
I don't know about start, but I think he was phenomenal. Like he changed him, and again, he changed the game, and that moves me on to the next guy. The other guy who changed that game was Zinchenko. God, I've missed him. He is a world-class football player.
Zinchenko, for me, sums up everything this new Arsenal does. It's the winning mentality. It's the positive energy. It's the passion. It's the phenomenal passes he creates, the positions he takes up on the pitch, which made a whole new style for us. I think he sums up everything we're supposed to be doing going forward.
We are, He's the new Arsenal. And I think I'd love to see 90 minutes of Havertz with Martinelli to his left and with Zinchenko behind him. And I want to see what happens. The other one I would like to say is Eddie. He's now on 2 goals and 1 assist in 5 games. Considering we scored 3 games, we've had 5 goals. He's been a part of 3 of them. He might have taken a knock. There's a rumor out there he might not be fit because he's got a bit of a knee injury that needs to be assessed. But I've been very impressed with him. Eddie, at what point do we go, he is the forward that's really good?
I think we kind of have a slight PTSD on. We've had a couple Colony players come through. Colony players? Colney players.
Colney, not a Colony.
No, what's the
Hale End.
Hale End. We've had a few.
We train at the Colony.
We've had a few Hale End players come through that we've kind of had a lot of expectation on, and they haven't quite hit it the way we wanted them to. But I think he might be a different version of that. I think he's not Saka, but he definitely. Let's say in comparison, if Saka's Henry, Nketiah could be Ian Wright.
Yeah, do you know who I actually like? Because obviously Ian Wright's such a pressure to put that on him. Wiltord.
Yeah.
A part of a world-class team. You don't really think about him much. But how many big goals did he get us?
Massive.
I couldn't tell you what Wiltord. I was younger, but I mean, I couldn't tell you what Wiltord gave to the team. But I feel like he was constantly like scoring at Old Trafford or at Stamford Bridge, just little tap-ins or one-on-ones, and
it's almost like a thankless role. It's got a little bit of glory, but you don't really talk about them.
I think some people just get like a pomp and circumstance around them. that they're amazing. But he scored, I think it's 9 home games in a row now.
Yeah.
It's like a record. Like, he's doing well.
He gets overlooked.
Another record. Saka broke the record this week for most consecutive games for an Arsenal player.
Wow.
With 83. He got the Young PFA Player of the Award last night. Haaland got the Player of the Year.
Yep.
And they got a picture together. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
And Haaland is also on the Impulsive podcast this week.
He is.
Which is a bizarre little crossover from wrestling.
I noticed KSI was rocking his Arsenal shirt in that as well.
He's giving him big stick of like choke artist and stuff. So that guy's a nutter. But Saka, I think, had a very poor game.
But again, is it down to the relationship?
He also scored a penalty.
It's also down to the relationships. Like
he had a 10-minute spell, which was amazing, which was when Ben White went to right back and Odegaard was on the right 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, but the problem is these relationships were all built last year.
Yeah.
And they're specific.
Yeah.
So let's say Zinchenko is good, whoever's in front of him.
Yeah.
But he's exceptional when it's Xhaka and Martinelli.
Yeah.
Ben White is exceptional whatever happens.
Yep.
But he's even more exceptional when it's Odegaard and Saka. What we need, I think, is instead of changing 2 parts of the relationships on each side, because they're the big relationships, the other relationship is Gabriel and Saliba.
Well, the back 5 as a whole is a big part of it.
Yeah, and but the problem is, if we do go back to it instantly and he gets caught in like, this is the only team I can play, all of a sudden that's why you end up selling a Smith Rowe, because Smith Rowe's not getting the sniff now when he's trying to rotate.
Yeah.
So what does he do? Or how does he get back in that team? Again, in 3 weeks' time, when Champions Leagues are back and the FA Cup's going and the Carabao Cup, well, not the FA Cup, it's not January, but the Carabao Cup, there's constant games every 3 days. There's a game. People like Smith Rowe are going to start games. Right now, it feels weird because there's like 4 games and an international break.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very condensed to a set team.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to get a good start. So, like, for example, I think we have to do our best 11. Don't mess about. No experiments.
No.
Get that 10 points on the board out of 12 going into the international and you feel good about yourself. Yeah. But no, I thought Saka was poor. He took the penalty, took it very well considering it was a long delay. But it's just odd that each week him and Odegaard kind of decide. But if it's working and they're scoring, I think I'm okay with it. I think we've done a lot there on a Fulham game. So what I'm thinking to do is move into the Premier League predictions. We'll finish with a little bit of a preview of the Arsenal Man United game before we go into the outro. So here we go. This is the exciting part. This is the part you like. So week 1, I won the week. I won it 6 to Simon's 5 to your 4.
Solid.
This week, last week's games, which are bizarre. And if you remember on the podcast, we were saying how Joe's picks are really bizarre. This week I got 2 right.
Okay.
Simon got 3 right, and you got 4 out of 10. So Joe won the week. So I've got a point. Joe's got a point. Simon's yet to make it onto the board.
Playing devil's advocate worked.
It did, and interestingly, first week was 6-5-4. This week was 4-3-2. So
wow.
But it's very tight. It's in there. And we're going to keep an overall score. So in case someone wins by 6 points one week, they can make up some other points.
Yeah.
So by the end of the season, I'm sure we'll have a good Andy-o winner. This week's games.
Yep.
We've got Simon's predictions, so we'll add that. So we're going to start off with Luton at home. First home game versus West Ham. Simon, of course, has gone for a Luton win.
Okay.
He's gone 2-1. Coming off the back of that Brighton game.
Yep.
You got to go West Ham, really. But similar to Brentford when they first came up, the atmosphere, that Luton crowd, I can't imagine. The only thing I'd say with Luton is I feel like I haven't seen them actually threaten.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they have one particular guy where you go, oh, he's going to change the game.
Yeah.
That worries me for Luton. And even last night they went out in the Carabao Cup. They don't look great.
They're not showing something.
No. So naturally, I'm going to go with a Luton win.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe a 1-0. West Ham are going to cause them trouble, but they put a lot of effort in last week. It could be tied. Big atmosphere. I'm going Luton.
Based off of this week, it obviously was a weird week. I didn't expect that from West Ham Brighton. I think West Ham are going to gain some strength. I think it's too good a manager, too good a support system, too good a setup now. I think it's going to be a hostile environment for West Ham to go into, with it being a London derby and the first home game in the Premier League for Luton. But I think West Ham have the ability to match that, not just in the stands, but on the pitch. Yeah. I'm going to go West Ham 3-0.
Go. Wow.
Yeah, I think
Luton are in trouble.
I think West Ham are going to be strong.
Okay. We've got Sheffield United versus Everton.
Okay.
Simon has gone for a 1-0 Sheffield United win. Okay, so Everton have probably been the worst team this year outside of Luton. Their crowd are booing at decibels
Yeah.
that I've not heard before. Away at Sheffield United, we saw some of the City game the day of Wembley.
Yeah.
Sheffield United crowd are loud.
Yep.
They have some kind of vibe.
Yeah.
They have a couple good players.
Yeah.
I felt like, because I only watched the first 50, 55 minutes of that game before it kind of all got turned on its head. The goal that they scored was a Kyle Walker mistake.
Yeah.
And I predicted the City will concede less than 10 goals this season.
Yeah.
And I think it took a mistake for someone to score, but they did then score. So they do have an ability. If they can score against Man City, whether it's a mistake or not, they have ability.
Yeah.
So when they're home to a team as poor and out of form as Everton, I have to go Sheffield United. I'm interested to know what you're going to do here, because you're crazy when it comes to stuff.
I'm not going to necessarily play devil's advocate this week, because I think that was a one-off week where I happened to go devil's advocate and the whole league just flipped on its head. I think based on recent things, Everton rely very much on their support. They have got solid support, a lot of tradition. And if the fans are starting to not see what's happening there, I think that is going to travel over onto the pitch. I was quite impressed with Sheffield United in that Man City game. We saw some of it. And I think there's a lot of praise to be heaped on Sheffield United for that game. They brought the atmosphere. They worked hard. They definitely were lucky with the penalty miss. But I think their hard work paid off. I think obviously they didn't get the win. But on the pitch, I think they showed a lot of resilience. And even the Kyle Walker mistake, it takes a team to push to cause a mistake. And I think that's what caused that. And I'm going to have to say, I think Sheffield United may get a 1-0 win here.
Same as Simon.
Yeah.
Next game is Brentford v Bournemouth. I think Brentford looked good to start the season. They actually haven't got as many points as you kind of expect at this point. I can tell you that in my fantasy team, I tried to get some Brentford players in, because I feel this could be their home game that they've had so far. It was Tottenham.
Yeah.
It was an awkward game. They looked very good that day.
Yeah.
They won. They drew 2-2, but they were a bit unlucky. I'm going Brentford.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game to watch. I don't know I guess that's not on TV. But I think
that's a 3 o'clocker.
I think that'll be quite competitive. Brentford haven't necessarily, like you say, started the way I expected them to start this season, because they have got a very good setup, very similar to a Brighton. I'm quite impressed with what Bournemouth are up to be fair. Like, even though they lost to Tottenham last week, I think they're showing some good signs. But I think this might be the week that Brentford solidify a little bit, and I think it might be like 2-0 Brentford.
Okay. So we got all three of us going the same there. We've got Burnley at home to Spurs. So Burnley, I thought, were very impressive against City week one.
Yeah.
I think they've been very poor since.
Yeah.
It's tough, because I know we've talked begrudgingly that Spurs have started well. Simon's gone 1-0 Burnley. I'm gonna have to go Burnley as well. I think it's going to be a good game, a lot of possession.
Yeah.
I think it could be like a 3-2 Burnley.
I think this I want to say it quickly now. This season is so competitive. So games on paper that in the past I would have just kind of gone, meh, this. It's so much harder to call now, because Burnley's set up again. They haven't found their footing yet in the league this season, but I do like what they're doing. But it hurts me to say, I think Spurs are they're just figuring Jeff. I think they're just figuring it out, and I think Spurs are going to win that. Probably, I'm going to say 2-1.
Okay. Next game is Chelsea v Forest. Simon's gone 2-1 Chelsea. Chelsea do look like they're kind of finding something. I think they're just not. They're not quite there. I think Forest have been really unlucky this season.
Yeah.
They've won one against Sheffield United at home. They've only lost to us and then lost to Man United, both in very tight games that they maybe shouldn't have.
Both were very similar counter.
Both should have been at least draws. They look dangerous, and I think if Chelsea allow it, those counterattacks are danger. Like, Man United have dealt with it. We've dealt with that counterattack. It's horrid.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go a draw. I think maybe a 1-1 Chelsea v Forest. Simon's Chelsea. I'm draw. What are you going?
I'm going to put a little bit on Forest here. I think this Chelsea team does look very good, and I think they have the potential to become very good with that setup and that manager. But I'm going to say Forest will get a win here. I think that's going to be an upset.
Okay. The next game is not worth talking about. It's Man City versus Fulham. I think Fulham are actually very poor. I think they're about to make some good signings.
Yeah.
I don't think they're good. I know we drew 2-2. I think that was our own issues. I think City have a robotic 3-0 win, which is exactly the same as what Simon's saying.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Fulham. Something's missing from Fulham at the minute. Yeah, like you say, there's some good signings coming in, but again, I don't know if they're big enough or good enough signings to necessarily shift anything.
Yeah.
I like Fulham. Like we've got an attachment to Fulham. Our granddad used to watch Fulham games as a child, even though he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
But I think City are gonna win that one like 2-0 probably.
Okay. I think one of the three big games of the weekend, like for enjoyment level. I think the next one, Brighton at home to Newcastle.
That's fun.
So Simon's gone 2-2. When you look at Brighton losing at home last week, I don't think that happens twice. No. I don't think Newcastle do what West Ham did. I know they could, like I said earlier. I think Newcastle are going to try and be the bigger team and go, we're going to go after you, which could make for a very exciting game.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's danger each way.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go for a Brighton win.
Okay, that's fair.
I have no clue what the score is, but I'm going to go Brighton. What do you think?
I think that's going to be a very tough game, very good game to watch. What time is that on? Is that on the weekend on TV?
It's 5:30 Saturday.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think in the middle of the pitch, that's going to be a battle. There's some impressive wingers on both sides. I think it's going to be a draw. I'm gonna have to say it's going to be like a 2-2. I think there's going to be goals in it, but I think it's going to be way too tight to call that one.
Okay. We got Palace home to Wolves. Okay. Simon's gone 1-1. I thought Wolves looked amazing against Man United. Yeah. I think they look really good. Since then, they've not been that impressive. Obviously, they beat Everton last week away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Palace have been a bit unlucky. They lost to us. They've drawn. They've won.
Yeah.
Only scored a couple goals.
Yeah.
That could be their issue.
Yeah.
I could see this being a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go draw.
I think I'm going to say the same thing. I think I like both teams. I like the way they're set up. I like what they offer. But again, from what I've seen, they very much lack a cutthroat edge on the pitch, both of them.
Yeah.
So it could easily prove me wrong, and it could be like a multi-goal draw. But I think 0-0. I think that's the safest bet with that one.
I think it's one of the other three big games is Liverpool versus Villa. Simon's gone for a 3-2 away win for Villa.
Oh, big.
So they're going to be missing Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I still think there's an issue with Liverpool. I know Newcastle. I had Newcastle smashing Liverpool last week, and they did. I think Newcastle probably their issue. I think is sometimes they don't think they're very good.
Yeah.
And they take a certain stance, and then it takes parts of the game for them to realize maybe we could have them.
Yeah.
Because they did it to Man City last year at home. They were really cagey for a while, and then all of a sudden, when they went for it, City couldn't deal with them.
Yeah.
Then they went back to, oh God, we're not supposed to be winning this, and then they ended up drawing the game. I think Newcastle have that in them. I think Villa this year don't.
Yeah.
I think they just go hell for leather against anyone.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go right at Liverpool, and if you go at the center of that team, it is 3 number 10s essentially in the middle.
Yeah.
Unless they make a very good signing Friday at Liverpool before the transfer window shuts, and there is a few names being thrown around who could stop people running through that middle.
Yeah.
I think they could be in trouble there. This is a tough game to call because of how good Villa have been.
Yeah.
I find it very hard to go against Liverpool.
Yeah.
At home.
The confidence of Liverpool as well.
Do you know what? I'm going for a draw.
Okay, that's fair.
I really obviously don't know.
I think this one looks like, if you imagine two boxers that love swinging and throwing punches, but one of them has a slightly worse defense on like let's say their midsection. They keep lifting the elbows. That's Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think the middle of Liverpool is very similar. And I think it's going to be a swing out, I think. And I think that weakness in the middle for Liverpool is what's going to cause a knockout there. And I think I'm going to go 2-1 Villa.
Okay. Writing that down. And then the last game of the weekend, the 4:30 on the Sunday game, is the game we're about to preview. But firstly, I think if we get a prediction first, just in case anyone keeping score, it's nice to have it all in one area as opposed to in 10 minutes time. Simon's got 3-0 Arsenal, and he said, I don't know if I believe it, but I'm manifesting it.
I appreciate that.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I think it's such a big game because Man United have probably got more points than they should have.
Yeah.
We probably have about the right amount.
Yeah.
I think we're controlling games a lot better, so I don't think we're going to get a 3-2 from last year.
Yeah.
Man United will be missing Varane.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow.
I think that's it. They might have a new left back in at that point. It could be Cucurella, it could be Alonso. There's a few options being bounded about.
Yeah, I don't think the Højbjerg deal will go through that quickly.
No, I don't think so. again, it's a couple of days for them to get acclimatized. So, like, you're not going to have someone at 100% understanding. I don't know. Man United, if it, I'm generally quite a pessimistic Arsenal fan. I assume we're going to lose pretty much every game.
Yeah.
If this was a team who are nearly as good as us, for example, if this was Brighton at home to Man United, I would look at the Man United centre and the way they just dive in, they leave massive holes. The goalie is either the world's best, sweeper keeper, or he could do something very bizarre. And they're missing their best centre back, essentially. I would assume Brighton would just smash them.
Yeah.
But because it's us, and because of our voodoo with Man United, I just can't see us just running right through the middle like we should, and I really hope we do. So I'm inclined to say it's going to be a draw.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm going to go draw because then if it's a draw, at least I'll win this. If we win, I'll be happy.
True.
What are you thinking?
It's an interesting one. I think on paper we should beat them quite badly. Just based on how we set up and how they set up. But Arsenal Man United famously is always a wild game, regardless of what happens. I'm very much looking forward to watching it, but
I'm nervous already.
Yeah, I'm very nervous already. I'm going to be very positive about this because we are positively Arsenal. I think Arsenal are going to win. I think it 2-1, something like that, like a classic result like that. I think we're too strong, and I think regardless, like you said, I'm very similar to you. I will kind of see that if it was Brighton, sure, Brighton will win. If it's us, don't know. But I'm going to remove myself, and I'm going to say Arsenal have to win that. I think it's 2-1.
Yeah, I think my heart says that. My brain says draw or even an away win, and we're just confused.
Yeah,
because the season's been weird so far. Teams that shouldn't be winning are winning. Teams that that look really good. I just lost massive games like Brighton. They just can't seem to finish. I don't know. I think something we need to do is predict the lineup. We've predicted obviously the score and the result. We've talked a lot about kind of Arsenal generally and about Man United. Prediction for the lineup. There's a lot up in the air at the minute. We're talking Gabriel to Saudi Arabia. He's obviously, for whatever reason, some people are saying it's to accommodate Havertz and it's a knock-on effect. Havertz comes in, Rice has to come in, Partey has to move to right. So therefore Gabriel has to come out because he can't play. He's the least best defender with his feet. So he has to come out. I think there's more to it because the other day when we had the option to bring him on to play centre-back, we chose to just put Kiwior centre-back and bring Zinchenko on. So to me, that felt a bit like, I'm going to put Kiwior ahead of you. So there's a part of me that thinks he might go back to basics. And he could have Ben White right back, I hope. Saliba, I can see him playing Kiwior at left centre-back. If there's an issue with Gabriel. Then he might bring Zinchenko back in fully. Then it's going to be Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka. And I think he will, if Eddie's injured, he'll go to Jesus. And I'd be very happy with that. I'd rather Gabriel be playing. And this is post-Friday when there'll be more clarity of what's going on with Gabriel. Because if Gabriel leaves, then obviously he won't be playing. If he doesn't leave, he might give some kind of indication to Arsenal, I have no interest in leaving. And Arteta might be like, cool, you can play. But if we've seen in the past, the minute someone gives any kind of negative feedback to Arteta, he very much doesn't ever forgive him.
No.
And I worry that's what's happening here. He's saying that Gabriel seems very understanding of why, which alludes to the Havertz thing of the knock-on effect. I just hope it's not that because it just seems so detrimental to the whole team to force Havertz in. And I think taking Havertz out of the team right now would remove all the pressure from him. And he'd be able to come on later in a game. But I'm going to say what I said before I let you go on with this. I think at the start of the season, I said Havertz will play in the big games up front. So I think he will go back to his back five. I think it would be, because some people are saying Raya in goal. I think it would be Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel. Left back will be Zinchenko. Partey, Rice, and Odegaard in the middle. Saka, Martinelli, either side of Havertz. That's the team I see. I think he, against the big teams, he likes that, having a tall guy up front that can hold it up and bring others in, release any kind of pressure that could build. I just don't see it. I think things that need to be talked about are, is Raya going to come in? For whatever reason. I don't think Ramsdale did anything wrong.
No.
Is Gabriel going to come back in? Is Zinchenko finally going to start? And will he drop Havertz? They're the big kind of talking points. But what do you see him doing?
Like you say, I don't think Gabriel. I don't think it's a transfer thing. I think from what's been communicated to us and what we can take away from certain things that have been said, he's understanding the situation, which doesn't sound to me like transfer. I think the transfer things come out of nowhere. I think we do have to get back. I like what he's doing by trying out these relationships because later on in the season it will help a lot. And at the minute, it does feel very up in the air and it's all a bit shaky at times. Mm-hmm. I want that back five back. Like, I don't think you take Ramsdale out yet because he hasn't made a mistake yet. You don't want to dash his confidence because he's a very confident guy. I think you have to have Ramsdale. You have to have that relationship with White, Odegaard, and Saka on the right. You have to have Zinchenko in there. Even if he doesn't play, I like your idea of Partey, Rice, and Odegaard in the middle. I think that's our strongest midfield, especially for these kind of games, especially as Man United's midfield is very sparse. Yeah. I think they could control that midfield beautifully.
Yeah.
But I still want to see Zinchenko link up with Havertz in the middle.
Yeah, but I feel like that's for a different day. Like,
not today.
If we're home to Luton,
yeah.
No offense, Simon.
Yeah.
I feel like getting to see that and letting Havertz do that. But I know that Arteta's worried about if you don't build that relationship first, even against Luton, they're not going to be able to connect.
Yeah.
So will he see today as that option? On Sunday to see that option?
Yeah.
I don't know. Time will tell a lot because there's a transfer window before the shuts before then. So I think that will give us more of an indication. But as far as the match goes, United, like we said, they're missing a couple key players.
Yeah.
I don't think they look good.
No.
I know they came back from 2-0 down, which is very much, as Man United fan would say, is in their DNA.
To be fair, it is. Like we've said in recent weeks, Man United, I never know what they are.
Their style is that they win games.
They win us. Yeah.
It sounds weird. But
like someone said on a podcast this week, they are the most famous club in the world. Yeah. So that is within them. Yeah. Like no matter what, when they look down and they got that Man United badge on, they will turn up and win because it's within the club.
Yeah.
It's in the blood. I think I like the idea of Havertz being up top. But the only downside of that is he does have good work rate because he's figuring it out. Like he's not used to this.
Yeah.
Arteta's working him hard. It's a very thankless job. There's a lot of running, a lot of cutting the ball out, which again is the thing I like the most about him is he does get to those balls. Again, if Onana's got the ball at his feet, and he's taking that a little bit too long because he is a bit nuts, Havertz will nip in. He'll slide in. He'll take the ball. As long as he shows that the work rate has also a little bit of passion, a little bit of drive. Because again, I think that is also what he's lacking a little bit. I think we haven't seen from him the urgency that fans need to see from players. Yeah. I know it might not be his style, but at the same time, you've also got to change your style slightly just to kind of match what you need to show that it's not coming out on the pitch necessarily yet, but you need to show the fans that you're here, you're willing to work, you're willing to put that drive in. And Man United is the game to do it. Because I know Tottenham have been our enemy all our lives. As a child through to now, Man United's the enemy.
Yeah, because Tottenham aren't really a threat.
No, whereas Man United were our
annoyed. So
yeah, we started positively with Tottenham. We're going to have to take it back.
Yeah, I hate that start.
But Man United in recent years, they've been our rival, regardless of what's going on in the league. That's the team and that's the game. Like that's the one you want to get that big win in.
I think the first 4 weeks, even though I think he was good 3 out of the 4 games.
Yeah.
I think a goal or a stellar performance against United, I think just makes everyone go, yeah, we love him.
Yeah.
So I think it's because of that, do you drop him because he has the ability to, or he has the ability to become the biggest villain of all time and it puts a exclamation point on a bad start, supposedly, to a lot of fan base. Either way, I hope the crowd is up.
Yep.
I hope the atmosphere is big. I hope that the players are up for it because I think it's a massive game, especially going into an international break.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to lose and have 7 points from a possible 12, like 50% of your points.
No,
we haven't had the hardest start.
No,
in all fairness.
No.
So
and all's gone to plan with the points so far. Like that's pretty much what we're expecting.
Yeah.
So 3 points here.
If someone had said the first 4 before international break, I would have said 8 points.
Yeah.
I would have said 2 wins, 2 draws.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
Now it's here.
Yeah.
Naturally, I want to get maximum that we can, which is 10. So that'll be interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to hopefully get a little podcast out at the weekend.
Yeah.
Post transfer window, and maybe a post Man United Arsenal Man United game.
Yeah.
That's in our plans.
Mm-hmm.
So keep your eyes peeled on that. If you're liking the podcast, obviously please give it a 5-star review. Leave a little comment there and follow it. And obviously let every person that you know that likes football do it. Because as we grow, we'd love to give you a couple podcasts a week, maybe one that is completely Arsenal based and one that maybe is a roundup of the Premier League as opposed to doing it both in one. Because this is an Arsenal podcast, but we also love talking about Premier League. And we know that some of you couldn't care less about Arsenal. So if we could do it in two separates, maybe like a Premier League pod and an Arsenal pod in a week, we'd love to do that. So, but the only way we'll do that is if you give us some support. So 5-star review, follow and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Pods, wherever you find us. Follow us on social media. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And with the transfer one, we might even talk a little bit about, I'll be very bad at selling players, which was a suggestion by a listener and a friend named Jack. We call him the Mule. We'll be answering some good questions. But if not, look forward to having Simon back next Wednesday. We'll have this podcast up obviously today on a Wednesday, 4 or 5 days before this Man United game. But any closing words? Do you want to say anything?
I just want to say, no matter what happens, guys, positively Arsenal, stick with the team, trust the process. Everything's going the way it's meant to go. Come on, Arsenal.
Come on, Arsenal.